Hello, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for joining us today for Intro to Marketing Your Company. My name is Parker, and on behalf of NFBA, we're glad to have you with us. Today's webinar is designed to give you a practical, approachable introduction to marketing, what matters, what works, and where to focus your time and energy as you grow your business. We're excited to be joined by our speaker, Eric Olson. Eric is an entrepreneur and marketing strategist with deep experience in the pole barn, shed, and steel building industries. He's the co-owner of Dayton Barns, Five Rivers Pole Barns, and Defined SEO. He is also the co-host of the Steel Kings podcast. What sets Eric apart is that he doesn't just talk about marketing, he lives it. He brings real-world insight from running construction-focused businesses paired with a genuine heart for service and helping others succeed. Eric, we're grateful to have you with us today. If you have any questions, please leave them in the chat box and we will get to them at the end of the session. And with that, I will turn it over to you, Eric.
Okay. Can you hear me? Am I on here? Just want to make sure you guys can hear me.
Yep, you're good.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Parker. What a great opening. I'm just doing what I can. I've built. So hi everybody. It looks like we've got about a dozen or so, 15 people on here. Um, I am going to talk somewhat quick because I want to make sure I get through everything. But I just want to let you guys know that I will be sending notes to Parker after this. So unfortunately, you're just gonna have to maybe look at my face for the whole time. But I promise you one thing. At the end of this session, we will accomplish a handful of things. And so what I really want to go over today is really 5 easy steps that will instantly make your company and your business or your brand look bigger, better, more trustworthy than pretty much anybody else. And I can say that from experience because I've owned a company called Dayton Barns for 7 years now. It's located in Dayton, Ohio. My best marketing strategy for the longest time ever was reply fast. I don't know how many times people called and said, I can't get anybody to pick up the phone. And it's like, if you just pick up the phone and reply, you're pretty much, how many know you're pretty much ahead of the game there. Um, so we're going to go over those 5 things. I hope by the end of this, you seem fired up. Maybe I've stirred your heart. Feel free, post as many questions as you can in the chat, and I will get to them at the end of the call. Make sure I leave like 5 or 10 minutes because I want to make this interactive. I am not a marketing specialist, as in I have a degree in marketing. I was a special needs teacher in my 20s. I've ran distribution centers, and then now I've been doing the barns and pole barns for about 7 years. What I do know what to do is how to care about people. I've self-taught Google, Meta. I'm an incredible SEO website designer. I've designed all the websites of the businesses that I own. And one thing I know to be is true is that most customers decide that they're going to hire you to do business with you within the first 20 seconds of handling you, being on the website, getting a referral from somebody. Their first interaction or impression of you is really going to make or break the furtherness of it. And so, whether you're just starting out or maybe you've been in business for quite a while, it's really not that relevant because without realizing it, you already have a brand. Maybe it's a great brand, maybe it needs some help. Maybe you're somewhere in between. And the question is this: is that brand that you are putting out there to the public, is it helping you win jobs, or is it quietly pushing good customers elsewhere because maybe some tweaks, you know? And so today I'm going to go over 5, and there were the bullet points from the email invitation, the 5 easy steps, core content. And I'm going to do, and just so you guys know, I'm planning to do a 3-part. This is the first part. We're going to build a foundation of easy first steps. And we're going to go to the basics. So I can't go into SEO strategy or web design today, although those are very, very, very important things. I just want to make sure that we go over kind of like um, really start from like real basic stuff. So um, Number one, and I'm just going to go into it. So the core content. So this is um, the core, or actually, let me go back to the first section. The first section is easy steps to strengthen your brand and grow your customer base. That's the first section. And so, step one. So, do you look like a real company, right? If someone Googled you or you sent somebody a message, and this is important. So, mind you, a lot of these things customers won't notice if you're not doing, but they'll notice if you are doing, and that's a good thing. So, if you're, and don't take it personal if you're doing it this way. I am here to help you. Trust me. Ditch the Gmail. If you have a Hotmail, a Gmail, if you have pole barn builders USA at gmail.com, fine for starters, but we need to transition most likely into business like Caleb or Eric at whatever your company is.com. You're talking about $6 a month for a Google workspace. It's 6 to 10 bucks for an email. You can do sales at or info at. That is super important as a customer is receiving emails or bids from you. It's just it's very important. If you don't have that, that's let's start there. And then number one, or that's number one. Number two, just keeping the email side going. This is just ripping right down the list. Pretty basic stuff. Make sure you have an email signature. That looks good. My email signature is pretty good. I have a headshot. I've got my socials posted in there. More than willing to help you guys with that. There's programs that you can use, or you can just go on Gmail. Like I use Gmail as my server, but I have uh, at Dayton Barns or at the Steel Kings or at Five Rivers Pole Barns. But I use Gmail predominantly as like my place to do it. I have a great email signature that I use, and really you want to put stuff on there: your name, your position, the name of the company, email, phone number. Maybe post your reviews on there. If you're in the sales aspect of it, maybe get your Google link out there. Um, something that can get, or maybe your website would be good. Um, so those are your email side, and then I'm a super pro voicemail guy. I know we live in the technology world of like texting back and forth, and I use Ring Central, so I know about texting. I have a business text and then my personal text. Um, Pro voicemail, something very professional. Hey, this is Eric. I'm sorry I missed your call. Leave your number. Make sure you're very articulate in the way. You've reached Joe with Smith Roofing Company. We're on a job right now helping a neighbor, but leave your name and number and I'll call you back within the hour. Something professional, something that lets them know you're busy, you're working, that type of deal. But believe me, it goes a long way. Most of our pole barn customers are older. They leave voicemails. It's important for them to hear that it's not like even if it's your personal cell phone. You just make a professional voicemail, make it sound great. Okay. So I would say, and customers treat a real business email and voicemail. Um, they will more likely than not continue their conversation if they see that. If they don't see it, they still might call you. But having those things are free is a free way of moving the ball down the field. Okay, step number two in that category. So having a Google business listing. So a Google business profile. Um, and I get, if you guys have them, great. If you don't have them, then you need to get one. Meaning you need to claim and verify your profile. It's easy to do through Google. You need to add pictures to the profile. So get a zip file or a folder of all your completed projects. You don't need to have information about them. Just pictures do well. People will shuffle through them. If you've put up 200 pole barns in your life, make sure you put at least 50 of them on there. More options, the better. People like buying pole barns from companies that have done a lot of buildings because that develops trust with them. So a free Google listing, fill that out with your service in your service area. That's super important. Don't just get the profile so you have a landing spot, but put the pictures, fill the profile out, every service you guys offer, the service area that you do, and then just make sure you post once a week. I would say post before and afters once a week. Collage them together, post them once a week. Quick tip: finish a photo job, keep something that's maybe seasonal. Um, your July 4ths, your Thanksgivings, that type of deal. And then if there is a review that comes in, and encourage people to interact with that profile. If you do and this will kind of bleed into some other sections that we go over, but um, make sure that you're doing all of those things. If somebody leaves a review, good, bad, or indifferent, make sure you write back quick. People like seeing that. When I go out to eat and I've never been to the restaurant, especially if I'm traveling, I love looking at Google reviews. I love looking at what people said. I love even more what the business owner said back to the review. It's good to do, especially if they're spending 50K like on a building. You definitely want to see how an owner handles heat, how they handle pressure, how they handle compliments, obviously. Um, and so um, if you have a Google listing, you will show up in the Google Maps section, and that leads to more phone calls. A lot of people will either get directions or call. So that's a free way of doing that. Another thing that's free um, is having a uniform look. So everything on your Facebook, and we'll get into that type of stuff. Facebook, Instagram, website, all has to be uniform. Same logo, same color tones, same fonts, if possible. And then and then also with that, um, as you guys are posting pictures like on the Google profile, and if you want to go to Dayton Barnes as we're doing this, go to DaytonBarnes.com or just Dayton Barnes and also buildings. Look at our reviews. Look at the pictures. Just check that out. We keep up with that pretty good. Just if you want something to look at and kind of see how we do it. We reply quickly. I think we're up to 100 reviews or something. We've gotten a couple rough ones, but we always reply pretty quickly and try to call the customer to rectify it. Um, and so one more thing in regards to that is before and after pictures are so cool. Um, I started doing that with Dayton Barnes, taking a picture from the same angle. Like, let's say you're putting up a 60, or let's say you're putting up a 30 by 60, with three bays on the 60 side and a wraparound lean-to on one end. Take a picture from one angle before anything is done, and then take the same picture from the same angle once it's done, and maybe a couple along the way. People love that. Is your best marketing, in my personal opinion, and it's free. You can point people to that stuff. Whether you're the crew master or you're the owner, and wherever you go, just ask for it. Call your workers, ask for it, because man, there is nothing better than a time lapse or a couple shots of before and after specifically. And so, um, I think that's pretty much those are and I'm obviously gonna, if you have any questions about that, put them in the chat. But um, so let me just go over it quickly. Professional email, signature, voicemail, get a business Google profile, upload pictures to it, and then build a before and after catalog. Have them in like a folder on your phone or something. So color, or I'm sorry, logo unification. So all your shirts, your marketing, uh, logos on all the websites and different social medias, make sure it's all the same thing. And then actually a call to action would be on this. Maybe call the past five companies or last five customers that you put pole barns up for, and maybe just ask them, challenge to the business owner, call it good, bad, and different. Why did you choose us? And what do you think of your building? And that will pretty much tell you, what do you think we could do better? Um, all of the things I just said are free outside of getting a, DaytonBarnes.com suffix to your email. Okay, so that's section one, and I got to speed up because there's four more. I just want to Make sure I touch everything. So the core pillars of a simple, sustainable marketing plan. Um, the four pillars that I have, and this is really the only marketing plan I think you'll ever really need. Number one is the repeat and referral machine. If you put up a sweet pole barn and you nailed it, and you are grooving with that customer, and you say, "I'll get you a $50 gift card to Outback Steakhouse for you and your wife," you better believe they're going to tell, because what every guy in the history of men, when they get a pole barn built, they want to show their friends, and then their friends want one. And that is the freest and most, it's like sleep like a baby profit, man. It's just, it's going to come if you do a good job. So those need to be fostered. You can encourage this to take place outside of just the interaction with the person. Thank you cards, small gift. I mean, if you guys are doing a 50K building and they're at that final check, and you guys didn't have to dip into the profits too much on, whatever the project cost, a small gift, maybe a measuring tape with your brand logo on there, a fridge magnet, um, thank you card. Those are incredible ways to get future business from a current client. So just keep that in mind, and I'll move on to the next one. Um, so pillar number two. So pillar one is repeat and referrals. So that's pillar number one. Pillar number two, local visibility. And this is going to have a lot to, and this is like obviously a obvious choice when someone in your town needs something that you guys offer. Um, it's non-negotiable. It's low cost. Google Business Profile, like I said, job picks, quick tips, offers, discounts. And make sure that you're active on your Facebook page, active on your whatever your social medias are. I do a lot of Facebook Marketplace. The team at Dayton Barnes, we have SEO pages that produce organic leads. That the team, we have salespeople that work there. And so that's good. But Facebook and Marketplace, if you have sales reps that are doing, make sure you're staying up to it. Answer all the questions. Do not ignore people's questions. If you post a good looking picture and 12 people comment, make sure you sit down and you answer the questions. You got to answer the questions, because it's super important for them to know that not only are you available, you're willing to help get them whatever education they need, or whatever the uh, um so um, if you have a truck, a work truck, make sure you put the name of your business, maybe with a QR code. It costs under $50 to get a magnet made with a QR code, and a magnet made with your brand logo on the door. So if you've got trucks or a fleet or whatever the case is, a little bit of investment there. I mean, that truck's going to be in front of the pole barn forever. And how many knows? Uh, ton, the best marketing for a landscaper is really cut two people's lawns and then give a brochure out or a door hanger, like, to every house that you can see that house from. And so that's an incredible way to get business while you're out there building your next project. It costs, no joke, $25 probably for 500 door hangers, and you could do a QR code with a discount or whatever the case is. Canva, or if you feel led, I could help you sort through that type of deal. Um, and those are your local visibilities. So just go over it. Google profile, Facebook profile, branded yard signs is a good one. So if you got done with a project, put a branded yard sign, get the magnets for your truck, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that's pillar two, local visibility. Pillar number three is authority, which is authority of your content. Now, this is a little bit more complicated. Maybe you're not. This one's a little bit tougher, but I find myself doing this with a lot of customers: is educate, don't sell. So here's a strategy for local visibility: educate the people. Not only in your post, but in your interactions. So this could be a um, rather than 10% off buy now, maybe it's five signs, or maybe it's for your shower, like why your shower pressure suddenly dropped and how to fix it. Well, now it's like, dang, my water pressure's low. What do you think? So that's just I'm just made that up on the fly, but you get why 6x6 laminated trusses are your go-to for pole barns. Boom. All right. Okay. What? Tell me more. Um, you post this on your Google, your Facebook. You can email it to past clients, Reels, YouTube Shorts, you name it. Lots of real options. That's where short form vertical is. We'll get into that maybe in webinar number 2, but um, definitely willing to talk about because we do that now and it works out well. So pillar number 3 is the content that you produce. Don't just post to post. Make your post count. Um, and if you've got the resources, maybe hire somebody to do it for you. A lot of companies will charge 100 to 200 to $300 a month to manage your Meta and your Facebook page. That's not that much, especially if it gets you a um, if it gets you a sale. I mean, think about it. One sale a year for $300 a month. Let's say it's $3,600 a year if you commit to that, and you're getting let's say 2 posts a week, which is 104, and then you got somebody managing your Meta. I mean, to me, if it sold you 2 buildings extra a month or a year, that already paid for it. So, like in my mind, that's a no brainer. So the type of authority you give the content: educate, don't sell, get creative. Okay. Pillar 4 is paid lead follow up. So this is after 1, 2, and 3 have been mastered, but obviously Google local, like a pay per click, your Google advertising for phone calls, for learn mores on your website, maybe your Facebook and Instagram leads. Um, if you, like I said, for 300 or 400 bucks a month, somebody will do that for you, but only resort to that until you've got 1, 2, and 3. And just one more time before we move on to the next section, it's the referral machine. Take care of your current customers. Get them a gift. Get them a tape measure. Get them a measuring stick. Something with your brand on it that they'll talk to other people about. Number 2, or some other creative way, thank you cards, gift cards, stuff like that. Your local visibility. So these are your yard signs, your truck magnets, your Google business listings, Facebook next door groups, Facebook Marketplace. If you've got a lead generator, great. And then your content, the actual content that you're front facing to the customer. Is it challenging? Is it educational? Is there a call to action? That type of deal. And so that's section 2, and we're cruising right along. So I think we'll be able to get through all 3 things. Section number 3 was what every company should have in place before spending a dollar. And I'll give you 8 things. 8 things you must have dialed in, maybe 7. Before you spend any money, and I'm firm on this, until you're responding to customers within a few minutes, it's pointless to spend money on ads. You got to have lightning fast lead response, or don't spend any money. Right? 50% of customers will call or text the first company that replies to their request. And guys, we live in an age where it's like, you know, I sold let me just tell you about this. West Jefferson, Ohio. I had a woman who, and I am adamant. If you respond fast and try to get them on the phone, it's a sale. I had somebody call or message me on Facebook. I had a 30 by 60 with 3 10 by or 9 by 8 overheads. It was a white building with a couple windows and like a walkthrough, whatever. Um, she had replied, or she had asked a couple questions about the building on Facebook Marketplace, and I wrote back like literally. Sometimes it's within 10 seconds. I know that sounds crazy, but I'm just boom. Hey, give me a second. I'll get right back with you. Like, thank you for the message. And then like maybe a half hour goes by, or you just continue the convo or start the convo there. I had that lady on the phone on the second conversation, and then on the third conversation, we scheduled a time to go visit, and then she wrote us a check when we got there. Ended up doing a lot of clearing because the company I own, we do other stuff too. So some excavation took place. Ended up being a 50K deal, minimal effort. I might have spent 40 minutes total in an interaction with her before meeting her. And then obviously when we was there, we spent probably an hour or so, maybe 2 hours over there. Um, it was a done deal at that point. Went home with a check. We're actually putting that woman's building up this week. Um, so response time matters. Correct grammar matters. Like uh, uh, capitalize the first letter in each sentence. Put periods. I know it sounds rudimentary, but it's absolutely true. Um, so okay. Um, real website that converts, not just a Facebook page. So you need to have um, a mobile friendly. If you don't have this, I think you should consider it. Um, response time is good, but an actual website that loads in like under 3 seconds, having a before and after picture gallery, a clear phone number, a 5-star review, or at least over a 4 displayed, and with the CRM form, which is basically like if you're interested in a phone call, we will reply to you within the a few hours, whatever the time frame is, whatever you're comfortable saying. Quicker the better. Website chat, CRM, phone call, uh, uh, gallery, coverage area, whatever is meaningful for your business. So having a website is. I understand the value of website because most of our leads that we get at all the businesses are organic leads that we get from search engine optimization. That is a mastered skill that I have. And so I've got all of the built-ins. Automated follow-up. So have an AI if you can have it. I know now we're kind of getting into the niche there, but having multiple touch points over the course of a week or two matters. Um, it'll turn, I would just guess 30% of no-shows into lukewarm, which could turn into sales. I can give you some exact templates over the course of time. But having at least a touch every day or every other day, it matters. It'll rule out the people who aren't interested. And I know you're probably thinking, man, I don't want to annoy somebody. Well, then if they're not going to buy, they're not going to buy, whether you send them no message or 5 messages, they're still not going to buy. Right. But if they're forgetful or maybe they need a little pushing, it's a good system. So we use that at Dayton Barnes as well. And all of the CRMs have AI, Go High Level, Velocity 360. Those types of companies offer that for free. Um, know your numbers. Okay. So here's another thing. If you're let's just say you're at the grocery store. Okay. I'm just painting some scenario. You're at the grocery store, you're with your wife, you're walking in, a customer or a person is walking out with a cart and they see you get out of your truck and you got that magnet on. Say, you do pole barns? I'm like, yeah, we do, man. What's going on? I'm so and so. And it's like, man, I've been wanting to get uh I just couldn't find somebody. I'm looking for probably just like a 30 by 50, something like that, 30 by 40. Do you know how much that would cost? Man, being able to answer that question, you're gonna hook them. You'll at least be able to get a quote out to them. Oh yeah, like a labor too. Okay, man, you can just wrap 40K or 35K. 30 by 40 is probably like 15K material. You can figure that out in your head. Having some numbers and a if you don't know these, you need to have some sort of idea. You don't need to know your profit. You can spitball a price to somebody to get them warm enough to set up something official. So that's a good way of there. Tracking, you've got to have tracking. So if you have a website, and now I'm getting into if you have a website or you're doing Facebook, you need to track. Tracking is like analytics. Who, what, when, why, how. So I use Google Analytics all day, every day. I use Google Console every day. Google Tag Manager. all day. Pixel on Facebook all day. Those are all things that tell me who's coming, how long they're there, what page they were on, how long they were on the page from. If I'm getting 1,000 people on a particular page, but my click through rate's like 0.1%, I'm gonna be like, okay, getting the people there is not the problem. Why are they not? I'm like, oh my gosh, my CRM form's at the bottom of the page. Moving that to the top of the page matters. And so maybe that little tweak, so that type of stuff. Some tracking, and then so here's an example. One contractor discovered that 80% of their leads were coming from 2 zip codes, but they've got 35 zip codes listed and they're paying for it. Well, just cut the rest, put most of the money in the 2 zip codes. So tracking helps you save money and focus on areas that are most likely working, right? Okay, so that's I did 5. I think I did 5 there. Um, this is before you spend money on advertising. This is what needs to happen. Um, Professional branding. Um, I don't know. I'm kicking a dead horse here. Uniform, like having polos with your brand, wrap trucks, Google reviews, calling old customers and asking for a review, before and after pictures, um, that type of stuff, the free stuff, right? And then you need to have some sort of pre-qualification script, maybe not a script, but like, um, you don't want to talk to everybody on the phone for 2 hours. So you got to manage your time. One thing I learned when I started doing pole barns is that people will take your time. They will take your time, and then you'll be frustrated. You'll be on the phone with them for 2 hours, and then you don't hear from them again. And that discourages you. It makes you grumpy. You just wasted 2 hours, obviously. So like that's not a fun thing to go through. So having some sort of plan in your mind for pre-qualification. Okay. When are you trying to build? How are you financing this thing? um some pre-qual, yes, don't get stuck on the phone forever, like figure that out, because you don't want more leads from paid if you stay on the phone to people or with a person for 2 hours. You need to be able to make 15 phone calls in a day and decide that 2 of those 15 are actual real takers. And that's going to be through probably a less than 10-minute phone call where you're asking them, you're drilling them, you're pretty much trying to figure out, is this something I can sell now, or is this a later topic? Oh, I'm looking to go next fall. I'm like, okay, well, it's December. I'm like, I don't even care about you right now. And that's an okay thing. Like, let me, just let them know. Make sure you stop by, man. Stop by the office so we can get you plugged in, so we can keep you updated along the way. But I think, man, it's too soon. But I think 40 to 50K is probably your price range. But man, come stop in, let us get your info plugged in. That way, when we get a little bit closer, we can give you a firmer number. And heck, there might even be some discounts or whatever the case is. Have it, you don't want to just spend all of your time on the first phone call with the customer. It is not good because you'll wear yourself out. Um, so I'm assuming most people are agreeing with that. Um, okay. So it's 2:34. Easy first steps to strengthen your brand, the core pillars, what every company should do have in place before you spend any money on advertising, how to maximize visibility, um, Google business domination, gotta have it. I'm not even going to go over that anymore. Branded trucks, yard signs, hyperlocal Facebook marketplace, website, um, referrals, obviously strategic partnerships. So getting involved with your local community, stopping in at the city office, maybe becoming a member of the chamber. We at Dayton Barnes, we are members of 2 chambers. We're members of NFBA as well. That networking is very helpful. It paints. We're Better Business Bureau as well. Those are all good ways. Now, obviously, that costs a little bit of money. It's like $50 a month for Better Business Bureau, but people get When you go to Better Business Bureau, we've had 11 issues. All of them were handled. We have a 5 star. We've never received anything lower than a 5 on there. And so that is how to maximize visibility as a smaller section. And then I want to end with this: common mistakes that contractors and small businesses make and how to avoid them. So I've got some, and then I just want to open the floor to any topic you guys have, any question, good, bad, indifferent. And then maybe set the stage for webinar number 2, which is going to be a lot of web design and lead generation. And so, common mistakes. And these are from personal. So I don't want you guys to think this is Eric, the marketer. This is Eric, the business owner. I had given a quote out to somebody on a website design, and I gave them way too much information up front. And they ended up just going to their current web design company and telling them what I told them, and then they didn't buy from us. They stayed with them and basically told them what they were doing. So I almost gave them too much information. I should have charged the guy at least a couple $100. So number one, quoting jobs too fast. How many in here, and I don't know how you can interact with this question, but quoting jobs too fast. How many people can relate that? You get them finalized with a quote within like 10 minutes and it's like too much. Number two, zero follow-up after the estimate is a huge mistake. Pricing, your pricing strategy feels fair. No, pick your price. And then living job to job, not a good business strategy. So those were 5 things. If you heard 3 of those things, then you need to listen to this, because if you're quoting jobs too fast, you have no follow up. If you're pricing per customer and not per for your company, and then you're living job to job, then you need to listen to these 7 mistakes that I've got here that I'm going to share with you, and then the instant fixes. Right? Mistake number 1: giving prices before pre-qualifying them. So if your quote's $9,800 and they say too high, you never hear again. Exact strip, you don't want to get into a price debate on it. Giving prices before pre-qualifying. Okay, well, tell me about what at Dayton Barnes. You could schedule all sorts of follow-up calls. Let me understand what you're doing, and then understand the concern. Don't give the price over the phone if you don't want to. Maybe ask for an email address, send it to them that way. Give them a range of pricing. You don't want to be devious here, but sometimes when a customer says too high, you've got to overcome the objective. What do you mean is too high? Have you got other, because maybe you can work it down, or maybe apples to apples, they're thinking they're getting priced for something that they're not. In the metal building industry, the difference between a 12 tall and a 13 tall is huge. 13 tall is going to require double legs and a piece of machinery. And that immediately jumps, no matter what the building cost is, up at least 10%. And so if you give a number out too quick and you don't understand fully, here's what happens. You get to the end where you're understanding and you're like, oh, I didn't realize that you were doing this. It's actually not $9,800. It's $11,800. And they're like, that's too high. Well, it's because you said the price too quick. So don't get caught not fully understanding the scope of the work before you say a number, because that will shoot you in the foot. I've done that, and I'm saying I've done that before. Or you bid too low and you got to take the price and somehow try to make it work. How many agree with that? I know some people are agreeing with that. Mistake number 2: zero follow up work, or zero follow up system. If you don't have a CRM, or you don't have a salesperson following up within a day or 2 of a quote, and I don't want to say foolish, because I'm not saying you're foolish, but you get it. 60 to 80% of your sales are going to come from the 5th to the 10th interaction, right? Initial discovery, maybe some follow-up questions, official quote, question about the quote, Thorough phone call. That's number 5. 6 is a follow up. 7's financing. 8's financing closing. 9 is scheduling a site visit. 10 is recap. 11's closed deal. I just spelled out your sale. You got to follow up. You need a way to be able to manage 50 leads at once in their various locations of their follow up, in some sort of sequence that you can come up with. And so most contractors send the quote and that's it. That ties into the AI type of stuff that I was talking to you guys about. So uh, that is a huge one, guys. That is a absolute huge one. Mistake number 2, the zero follow up system. Okay, here's mistake number 3, trying to be on every single social media platform. Pick a lane. Website, Facebook, it's over. That's it. If you're just after likes and reels, then go to TikTok. But if TikTok doesn't sell you pole barn projects, why are you on TikTok? So post if you post on 6 platforms, you're going to end up being tired of doing it. Find one thing and hammer it. If it's Facebook, I would say most pole barn customers are a little bit older in their 40s or 50s. Every single 40s and 50s and 60-year old and 70s, they all have Facebook. It's like they live and die by Facebook. It is a great website for the next probably, I would say, 20 years, 15 more years of Facebooking. And then we'll switch to AI probably. Um, if you can learn it yourself, I would do it. If you can learn Facebook posting on your own and do it because that'll save you time. And then once you fully understand, if you outsource it, then you'll know if they're doing a good job. So hiring a good guy that's good at Facebook instead of building a system, um, unless the person's producing and you trust them. But either way that you go about it, you need to know exactly why Facebook's beneficial or why Google Ads is official, is you should do it, or why Google you should do it, or why you should have a website that produces leads. Um, okay, so that's mistake number 4. Mistake number 5 is pricing by cost. Um, and that's a tough one because a lot of times you'll leave 15 to 30% like on the table and you didn't need to. And you look back like, man, I bet they would have bought for 70 and you charge them 63. You need that 7K. That 7K will buy you a brand new website, a banging website at that. And so you got to think price by value, not by project. If you're getting too far into it and it's about 7K, split the difference, get the price to the top of what you can get. You got to make money. Being a little too buddy buddy with people, if buddy buddy is a close, so buddy buddy is a type of close. That's when you're like, their friend, but buddy buddy, you can still put the foot down and say it's 70K. Look, trust me, you'll spend 70K on this building, customer A, and you will not complain. You will be happy. You will literally not have issues. I trust you. It's the best 70K you'll ever spend. Like if I gave it to you for 63, I'm dipping into my pocket and I got family to feed. Trust me, if I wasn't giving you a good value, I would sell it to you for 63. This is the best building, the best teams putting this thing up. It's don't budge on price. I've budged on price before. Over the course of 10 deals, and if it's 20% or 15% or 10%, man, that adds up. It adds up to, you could hire somebody at the end of the year. So, okay. So pricing by cost per project, just price by the value you can add and why, Now, if you got to get the deal, you got to get the deal. Okay. But leverage your quality, your commitment to doing the job right. And most people will value that. If they're willing to spend 63, they're definitely willing to spend 70. It's not that big of a difference. Mistake number 6 is zero reoccurring. So you finish the job and pray the phone rings again, right? So you can't not be selling buildings when you're busy putting buildings up too. And that's that'll be a hard thing to overcome, especially if the organization's small. You've got to figure out how to be booking deals while you're also putting deals up. Um, I would say if you're local and you could swing it. Now, this is something I could leave off here, but I thought of it because we offered it for the metal buildings. Um, Offer a 3 year, I mean, whatever warranty it is, maybe you don't 1 year craftsmanship warranty, but if you want the 5 year extended, maybe it's, an extra couple $1,000 or something. And you pull that into your marketing budget, something like that. Um, that one I'm not like a huge fan of. I'm a huge fan of if you did a good job for somebody, make sure that they talk nicely and leave you a review because that'll most likely get you more sales. Um, Here's the biggest mistake, and I love marketing, so I don't fall in this category. I love getting creative on how to get people across the finish line. Here's the number 7 mistake, and then I'll take questions. Okay, if you're doing your marketing and you hate it, that's the mistake. Like if you're doing the marketing and you despise it and you don't want to do it and it's a chore, then like you shouldn't do it. You're the most expensive employee at the company because not only do you not like it, it's not getting done well, but your time now is going towards something you don't like, and that's not a good thing. Um, you could hire a part-time assistant for a few $100 a year, or not a year, but a few $100 a month to handle that type of stuff. Um, so, um, but here's a bonus mistake: believing that the word of mouth strategy is enough in 2025, leading into 2020, it's not enough. It was probably true in 1985 or 1995 before cell phones, but today is not. You've got to press referrals. You've got to press online visibility, branding. You've got to press your website. It can really change. I mean, what would you do if you sold 3 more projects a month? What would you do for that? And so that's a good question to ask yourself. All right, I think I'm done with the set, with those. And so I'll thank you guys for sticking this out. Looks like everybody stayed with. Um, I am by no means an expert, but I am available to talk with you guys about any aspect of your company. We do pretty high volume sales in the portable sheds, metal buildings, and pole barns. Um, and we talk about sales all the time on the podcast. It's pretty much the main topic. And then the NFBA show, which is coming up in February, where we'll be there. Would love to meet you guys if you're on this call and you're like, I want to meet this guy. He seems like he knows what he's talking about. Or maybe you're like, you need to tell him he's wrong. I'll be at the Defined SEO booth and the Steel Kings booth, which is a podcast. They're side by side. So looks like we have one question. If you're already making educational content, how do you increase engagement? Okay, well, that's great. So educational content for um, like on structural stuff for the pole barn, or did you know type of stuff? Um, how do you get more engagement on that? I think engagement really falls with how well you are people coming to the page. Dayton Barnes has like 90,000 Facebook followers, so every post we make is visible by quite a bit of people. Um, I don't think it's maybe the good or bad of the content, more as the visitor volume. And so visitors come through paid ads, website traffic, yard signs, every nook and cranny. Um, I love to, I just answered your question, so I'm just going to hit answer live. Done. I would love to talk to you about what that content is so I can actually answer the question for you. Um, the next webinar that I'm going to do is Facebook, Meta, Google Ads, and the value of your website. We sell metal buildings nationwide and pole barns in Ohio, and we get minimum 400 clicks a day. and those convert to in October alone of this past year, we received 160 phone calls, and we closed I think 16% of those. So analytics matter, volume matters. I mean, and these are things that I think matter if you want to scale your business, um, knowing the analytics. And so I think I'll just leave you with that. Here's a challenge: change for the positive in some way. If you're doing everything that I said, congrats. If you're not, just I'll send out those notes, and maybe if you guys have any questions, you can get in contact with me or our company, Defined SEO. And Parker, I think that's all I got, brother. Um,
Alrighty, we thank you for
I just
sharing.
talked. Yeah, I talked for an hour. So
Yep. Thank you for sharing your time and practical insight with us today. We really appreciate you breaking down marketing in a way that's approachable and actionable. Thank you, everyone who joined us today on the webinar. We'll be sending out a link to the webinar recording following today's session, and the recording will be available on the NFBA website within the next couple of days. On behalf of the NFBA, thank you again for joining us for the intro to marketing your company. We appreciate your time, and we hope to see you at the next session.
thank you guys.